Joining us now in the Small Business Spotlight. Not only is she on time at 9 a.m., but she was here an hour and 10 minutes early, joining us here on the show. Please welcome Donna Richardson, SoulJoel's mom and real estate agent. Good morning there, Donna. How are you? You can get nice and close to the microphone there. Just pull the mic nice and close up to the edge of the table. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect. You're good. All right. So, first of all, thank you for coming. I know you're a little not sure about being on the show, but it's going to be absolutely painless, and I think afterwards you'll even have some fun.
I hope so.
I think you will.
Oh, boy.
So, Joel, I know that you said your mom's been in real estate for like 30 years now?
35 years?
35 years?
1988?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it about real estate that kind of always intrigued you, or was it just something you got into accidentally? Because we've heard stories about that as well.
Well, I enjoyed it because every day was different. You meet different people, you see different houses, and every transaction is different. And the flexibility raising my children was great.
3 kids.
Because you make your appointments.
Yeah. Now, did you ever, because I always felt bad as we had some real estate agents over the years, and I always felt bad because we would drag them all around and we've never bought a house. How do real estate agents, and we'll get into your stories in a second, but how do real estate agents feel about those of us who want to buy a house? We do want to buy a house, but we never pull the trigger.
Well, I think you kind of get that feeling after you take them out so many times, whether they're serious or not.
Okay, we were serious. Couldn't make a decision fast enough.
Oh,
Like nowadays, you have to pull the trigger so fast, and I think that's so intimidating for a lot of us who have never done it.
Right. And back to your first question about why I got into this.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the very important reasons why I got into this was because it didn't matter if you were male or female. You made the same amount of money.
Well,
I didn't even think of that.
She's not joking because I've heard that more than once.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because I went on different job interviews and I was always getting paid less because I was a female, even though I was the sole breadwinner of the family. Mm-hmm. And that annoyed me more than anything because I would be doing the same job.
As an Italian American.
Well, so real estate, I sell this house.
You get this percentage.
Yep. And it didn't matter if I was male or female. So that was another main reason why I got into it.
That's awesome. And it's great that you recognize that so early on and were able to take advantage of it.
Right.
She doesn't want to talk about those of us who don't want to buy houses.
Oh, no. I think
it's really hard. But I always felt so bad about dragging the real estate agent around because we really did want to. It just never happened. You know what I mean?
And that's
develop
okay.
patience, I think. You develop patience.
Okay, yeah. Well, you develop patience.
Well, she did that with you.
Yeah.
And you just, you win some, you lose some. It's just, not everybody, you don't close everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of ones that she didn't close. Now, I think the person that referred her was trying to protect the customer, and so she goes, "Hey, I gotta have you show this person a house." It was Eric Lindros, who had just got announced as captain of the Philadelphia Flyers. My mom was driving. You see what my mom is, 5'1".
He's larger.
Yes, my mom stops because she obviously you drive around, so you're the one driving most of the time, and she stops at a stop sign or a stoplight and throws her hand in front of Eric.
She stopped
short. And she goes, "Oh my goodness, I'm sorry." And he goes, "It's okay, I have a mom."
No, he said my mom does that too.
Oh, my mom does that too. Because as if her 110-pound soaking wet arm was going to stop this muscular man
6'4", 240.
Yes. From flying through the windshield.
Well, she has mom strength.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Just never, the mother instincts never stop.
No, they never stop. Never stop.
So with athletes, do you get nervous meeting the big name athletes, or since you're not a huge follower of Philly sports, do you not?
There's more to this, first of all.
Oh, okay.
Well,
They want No, they went to lunch. Tell them what happened.
Okay.
Well,
Because we're not even there yet.
Okay.
At
Because
this
we
point,
were out looking at houses all day, so we stopped somewhere for lunch, and people were coming up for his autograph. I said, "Oh," and I asked him who he was because
there's your answer.
I told him, I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry." I said, "I would not have known you if I would have met you on the street."
He probably liked that.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I don't think he was ever a guy who was really like reaching for the
He
spotlight.
didn't seem like he had a real
Yeah.
top of the.
I feel like
ego.
he always
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, he might have an ego. I don't know if that was.
But not in that way.
Yeah, he was never a guy who was like out on the town. Like he was never
Right.
searching for. He was never going to big events and like walking the red carpet.
Right.
He never struck me as that kind of guy.
And then, a year, maybe two later, she takes out a Philadelphia Eagle, who is now a sportscaster with NBC, and she goes, "Do you know this guy? He's." I can't.
No. What happened was I had this voicemail
Go ahead. Right.
in my, on my phone. So
On her
and this was
answering
at
machine,
work.
not her phone.
This was at work, my answering machine at work, and I thought the guy was saying Mike Sikahima. And I called the number, and I guess one of his kids answered, and I asked for Mike, and they said, "There's no one here by that name." And I'm thinking, so one of the other agents, I said, "Listen to this message. What does this say?" He goes, "Donna, that's by Sikahima." He said, "Not Mike." I said, "Oh, my gosh."
Yeah,
So
because
then
the
I
last
called
name,
back, and then
Sikahema, Michael goes with it.
so I did take him to see my listing.
Yeah. So you got a hold of Vi Sikahema,
I got a hold of Sikahima once I called back and asked for the right person.
kickoff returner for the Eagles, and then, as you said, went on to become a sports reporter in Philadelphia. Was he a nice guy? Did you have fun with him?
Nice. He was a very nice man.
Now,
Yes.
with all these athletes, have you ever taken around a celebrity that you've been starstruck? That because obviously the athletes not your deal, and that's cool. But has there ever been a celebrity that you showed around where you were like, "Oh, I know who that is, and I'm kind of excited to get to meet them"?
No,
No.
none like that. Mostly because in Moorestown, where I used to live, there was a lot of athletes that came there to live because we weren't far from the stadiums, and there were other people there. And
I think taxes are better in Jersey than in Philly.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think that's the
and
reason a
the
lot of
schools are really good. And there's various reasons, and there's a lot of other athletes that live there. In fact, one of the agents in my office, I mean, he sold Donovan McNabb his house, and Randall Cunningham.
Oh,
And a
Randall
lot of
Cunningham.
Eagles,
Yep,
yeah.
that's very cool. I had that poster on my wall when I was a kid. The Ultimate Weapon Randall Cunningham poster on my wall, right over my bed. And that's very cool that he came to one of your offices. Not you didn't get to meet him, but you got to
Right.
hear that story.
And I also took out, I guess it was Miles Davis's son,
Oh,
to look at houses, and I didn't really know who Miles Davis was either. And one of the agents in my office said, "Oh my gosh, you took him out. You didn't say anything to me." She was really upset.
Wait, Miles Davis from the Village People? Like, wait, because
I think he's a singer, right?
yeah, but because he was
Musician.
Jazz musician and trumpeter.
he was a year behind me in school. Wait, this must be a different guy.
Yeah.
No. Because one of the guys that graduated a year behind me in school, his dad was one of the Village People.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Are you sure that's not who it was? Or
It might have been. His name was Miles Davis. That's all I know.
We'll have to do some Googling and
Yeah.
try to figure that
yeah.
out.
So, do you want to tell your first date story?
You really want to bring this up, huh?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, just real quick, because you're a sports guy,
Uh-huh.
okay? First date, my mom. Well, no, it was second date, right? It was second date, or was it first date?
Well, I met him for lunch on our first date. This was our first evening date.
Yes. My mom went.
First date after dark.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Well, one of the people that she sold house to, a guy that I took karate with, his parents always had a Derby day, Kentucky Derby.
Oh, okay.
Party. Okay, and the drink is mint julep.
Mm-hmm.
Now my mom, not a drinker.
Okay.
So she shouldn't have had one mint julep, but she's showing off in front of my drinking Irish Catholic now stepfather.
Was she doing the
No,
shoulder
it's
thing?
That was just me.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's making a mint julep and she has two.
All right.
Yep.
That's what's in that cup right now.
Yes, it'll be our little secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then heads to the Philadelphia 76ers game, and because he was single, had season tickets. And sits down, and you say,
What color are we?
"What color team are we?" Now, as season ticket holders, you have people around you.
You get to know the people around you.
Yeah, they turn around and collectively look at her and go, "Where did you get this one?"
Well, in my defense,
Yeah, in your defense, they were playing the Lakers, who had Shaq and Kobe and are yellow and purple.
Pittsburgh didn't have a professional basketball team.
Right. That's
And I,
That's her defense.
in her defense. This was 20 years later after moving to the greater Philadelphia area.
obviously, I was not a sports fan
No.
of any kind.
Yes.
Yeah, you have very athletic kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, they grew up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think it's just from the area and the sports crazed area that we live in?
Yeah, I do.
She holding the camcorder and on my wrestling tapes going, "Get him! Get him! Turn him! Turn him!" Yeah. Well, tell them about when I was a senior. Okay, I was a 3-time captain, right?
Hall of Fame
obviously.
athlete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6th all time.
Yeah. PA State soccer champ.
Yeah. You brought it up.
Yeah.
But
Your mom's not
I
impressed.
upset in my my sophomore year. I got second. I wasn't supposed to. My junior year, I got upset, got second. I was supposed to win. My senior year, like a real psychopath, what happened? You dropped me off at the school.
Oh, wrong door.
Wrong door. Do you hear this? I was blaming her because I got dropped off at the wrong gymnasium door. Forget the preparation, wrestling camps.
I never go in this door. This is not the door I'm supposed to go in.
That's what you were saying to her?
I was saying to her.
So what did you get in?
I got in. No, what was it about going in? It was like I was so superstitious. Like,
Oh,
I
it's
had
a
to have
superstition thing.
2 bananas, 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, 2 Gatorades, and 1 prescription. I was crazy. No, I'm joking. But
Did you really eat all that food before you
yeah,
wrestled?
after weigh-ins.
Oh, weren't you worried that if right before you wrestled you ate all that and someone squeezed you the wrong way?
No.
It was going to be like a tube of toothpaste?
No. She laughed harder at you, Mike, than ever I have, and I've been in comedy for 17 years.
She likes toothpaste jokes.
But I went down 3-1. She walked out of the gym.
She left.
She left, right?
Well, I
Like a
couldn't
disowning
watch
thing?
anymore. No,
Oh.
I just couldn't watch anymore.
You get nervous?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So I won.
Do you get nervous because she left?
Well, she heard everybody screaming, and then was like, she'll come back in.
That's awesome. Do you get nervous when he does comedy? Like you did when he was wrestling?
No.
No?
No, wrestling is such an individual sport, and I know how these guys take it. I mean, when they're little kids, they cry when they get beaten, and when they get older, they just the anxiety and wrestling I was never exposed to until Joel got into wrestling, so it was really different.
Just like basketball.
Just
They didn't have wrestling in Pittsburgh?
well, I had 2 girls
Ah, I see. And
Yeah.
Joel was the
wrestler.
in the crew.
Only boy.
Just to go back to real estate for a second. Obviously, it's a very tough market right now. So,
For
and
buyers,
yes,
still.
and it can be, like I mentioned earlier, intimidating because you have to make a decision so fast. So when you have maybe newer buyers and they've never done it before, and it's in this type of environment, do you give them any words of wisdom, any advice about what they really need to do if they're serious about buying a home in 2023?
Yes. You know, they absolutely have to be pre-approved first because you have to be ready to pull the trigger. And one of them is you have to show that they're qualified to buy the house. So that's important to do that right away. And sometimes they will have to lose a couple houses with offers before they really get it. But when they really get it and you direct them, you can find a house for them.
Would that be maybe the easiest example of a piece of advice would be just listen to your real estate agent? There's a reason they're in that business. And, while you may read a lot of stuff and check out Zillow, you've not had the real life actual,
experience
of dealing with that kind of situation. And it's so stressful for the buyers. Same thing for the sellers, but it's so stressful for the buyers because they're the ones that are putting out all that money, unless it's someone who's buying houses constantly and flipping them. For just a normal person, that's for sure going to be the biggest thing they ever purchase in their lives.
Absolutely, and so many factors play into it. Are you paying cash? Are you getting a mortgage? What kind of a mortgage are you getting? Because some mortgages, it has to appraise for the contract price.
Push that mic up for her a little bit. Sorry. There you go.
Oh, some properties, they have to appraise for what you're paying, and are you able to make up the difference if it doesn't? I mean, there's just so many factors that play into it. You really should listen to your real estate agent and have them sit down and explain to you, because some of them may not, they think that you may understand, but sometimes you don't know all these things. So, sit down with them first and go through the different scenarios, the different possibilities for you as an individual. And
it's almost like a relationship, the buyer and real estate agent thing, because you really have to be comfortable with that person if you're going to give them that amount of trust. It's almost like when I first went to talk to a surgeon about my back. The first doctor, I had an anxiety attack in the office when he was explaining to me what the surgery was going to be like, because he was just so blunt about it. Like, he was just older, had no bedside manner. I had to walk out of the room and go outside and get some air, and Julie stayed and listened to him. Like, he was like the crypt keeper. I just could not deal with him. I said, we have to go see somebody else. Right. Now, I didn't have a panic attack because of the real estate agent talking about slicing me open, but it's just like, if you're not comfortable with a person who's going to be that much involved in what you have going on in your life, cutting you open and dealing with your spine, buying a house, they're two very nerve-wracking experiences.
It's the biggest investment most people make in a lifetime. So you really have to be in tune to them.
So I'm taking it you guys don't get, as I'm saying, as real estate agents, you're not insulted if someone meets with you and it just doesn't work out.
Normally it's a two-way street.
Yeah. So if they're not vibing with you, you're not vibing with them.
Yes. Normally.
Yeah. You'll find the real estate agent that's right for you. Well, why don't we talk about the journey to get here? Because this was her and my sister were both my real estate agents for this transaction.
How is that
sorry.
for you? No, I love the topic. How is that for you, working with your mom and your sister in a super stressful
amazing for me.
Okay.
Because what you just said, they have my best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. And also donating her services. So I know there's no malintention. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's nothing but trust, and they have my best interests at heart. That being said, the toughest thing I've ever gone through, because this was probably property 30 that we looked at.
Oh, I didn't even keep track of it.
But that tells you a lot.
We were actually under contract with another property.
I remember. Yep.
And I actually was very happy it fell apart. In fact, I almost recommended to Joel not to go with the last demand that the seller had, because it was ridiculous.
Did you see the tenacity in her face?
Yeah. She went from joking around, haha, to that was very serious. I peed a little.
Because I told the other agent, I said, your seller is being absolutely ridiculous, and I'm going to recommend that the buyer not agree and sign the amendment, and we just part ways.
And for the first time ever, the seller contacted me directly and said my mother-in-law is sabotaging the deal. And that told me everything I needed to know. She's got the same last name as me. It's my mom, you dummy. That's how out of touch with reality this guy was.
Yeah.
He didn't even make eye contact when I was on his property. Never once wanted to talk to me, shake my hand, nothing. and goes, your mother-in-law sabotaged the deal. Talk about delusion. That property still for sale.
Still for sale. And how it's at least a year and a half now, something like that?
A year and a half that we walked away from it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We walked away in June of 2022.
So, wow. So a year and we're at 3 months now.
Yeah, that we walked away.
Right.
And still sitting there for sale. And are there some sellers like that? And that's something, obviously, if you're a buyer, you have to understand that they are being a little too greedy or being a little too
Absolutely.
stubborn with their property.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And there's sellers like that, too. And sometimes I tell the sellers, a lot of times, your first offer is your best offer. Let's go through all these different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have seen, it's a different market for sellers. They usually get what they're asking for, and
If
a lot
not
of
more.
times above.
Yeah.
Right. But there were times, real estate's cyclical. And there's other times where, they get an offer within the first week, and they think, I'm going to get more. And I've seen it where they get a lot less, and they think, I should have taken that first offer. And I tell some sellers that in that kind of a market. I said, I have had this happen. I said, let's go through the different scenarios.
And that's called educating your buyer. Trying to,
Seller, buyer.
well, whoever it is, right?
He talked about how hard it was to find this place eventually. Was this one of the more difficult experiences you had in real estate? Because
I
it
don't
was
normally sell.
commercial.
I am,
Yeah.
yes. And I only did it for Joel. And I only do it for certain people that I know because it's a totally different animal than selling residential.
It's the wild, wild west.
Yeah, it almost seems like there's not a lot of ethics in the
Yeah. If she
in the
didn't say it, I
commercial
was going to say it.
industry.
No code of ethics.
They just do what they want whenever they want. I mean, it's funny. And you have to do diligence. The buyer has to do diligence. It's up to us to discover what's wrong, what's not good. I mean, as far as disclosures go, yeah. On the seller's part, there's not a whole lot of demands on them. And when you're talking millions of dollars,
Yeah.
it's very nerve-wracking, especially when you're related to them.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to do it again.
So stay here, Joel.
I don't.
Is what Donna's saying.
I don't personally recommend it.
I think you should stay here as long as possible.
I had a
Or
lot
at least till
of
she
sleepless
retires.
nights, let me say.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So you're not looking to get into the commercial real estate game again. Do you think
It's
this
not my personality.
will this be the last commercial property you ever deal with?
I hope so. I don't want to say never because a lot of times that backfires.
Yeah.
But
It's not legally
can I tell
binding.
your dad's story?
Yeah. Wait.
Did he
Wait.
buy China?
What? Wait. What's the? Wait. What? It?
It's when I said never. I was when I was still married to his father.
Joe won.
I like that. Joe number one.
Joe the first.
We were. I was talking to one of my good friends in New Jersey, and we had a mutual friend where her husband left her. And I said, I know me and Joe have our differences, but he would never leave me and the kids. 2 weeks later, he was gone.
I didn't know that.
Nancy Scully.
Oh gosh.
Well, you were little. Why would I tell you that?
Well, this is 1990 all over again.
I've been doing this a long time. I don't know how to segue out of that. I don't know how to segue, and then 2 weeks later, your dad left. I don't know how to segue out of that.
Wow. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Back to you, Joel.
Yeah. No. I don't think so. Oh, that's funny.
So life throws you a lot of curveballs, and it just matters how many times you get up and keep going.
Speaking of curveballs, you're throwing heat, Mom. You're throwing nothing but heat.
It was high. It was chin music too.
But we stayed in New Jersey, and we did fine.
Yeah. Yep.
So what is it about Joe's?
I don't know. I almost didn't go out with my current husband because his name was Joe, and me and Deanna, because she was a little older then. It was online. We met each other online.
Oh.
And when he sent me his picture, it came through sideways because, we weren't real techie back then.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't and I wasn't. And Deanna goes, oh, he's kind of cute, Mom. And I said, yeah, but his name's Joe. I said, is that a bad omen? She goes, no, you can't go with that.
Yeah. And my mom decided to go to lunch because if it didn't work out, she'd be like, I got to get back to work.
Yeah, we met for lunch.
Please.
You had an out planned.
Yes. Yes. This sweet lady had an out planned. Yeah.
You told Deanna, if I text you the word Reuben, call
Yeah.
me right away for an emergency.
Right. But it was a role reversal. Knowing that he was a police officer, still working at the time, obviously, got a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't call Deanna. And she was like, back then she had a pager. I've been paging you. I've been paging you. Where were you? He's got a gun.
I said, oh, so when you don't come home on time,
She
I
used to-
said, now you know how it feels. And you don't, I can't get a hold of you.
Yeah, she used it as a coaching lesson. A moment.
Did Joel ever break curfew?
Are you kidding me? Remember? I came home with a speeding ticket. You came home with a Wawa application. Because you're like, you got to
That
pay for
wasn't a curfew issue.
That was. I was late. That's why I got a speeding ticket. Oh. Because I was like, I can't be late. My curfew was 1 o'clock. I was home at 1:15 because I got pulled over by the cops. And then in the middle of wrestling season, I got to make weight, and I got to ask you, do you want mayonnaise or mustard on your sandwich?
I did make him pay for the speeding ticket.
Oh,
Yes.
again, teaching moment.
School of hard knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teaching moment.
But to finish that first date with the Sixers, because Mint Julep doubled down,
On mid juleps.
she fell asleep on the way home in his Ford F-150. What a fun time. What?
I said to him, why did you ever call me back?
Yes. No.
Because I didn't think anybody's life could be this bad all the time. He
Yes.
said, boy, was I wrong.
Now, we didn't get to the part in between that. She gets out of the Ford F-150 at 5'1", waves at the neighbor, and falls flat on the pavement.
Oh, no.
Because his truck was high. I wasn't used to getting out
Yeah, it
of
had
the
nothing to
high.
do with the mid-juleps and her nap. Her nappy noodle. Had nothing to do with that. So
Did you sleep the whole way home? Like, did he have to wake you up?
No, I don't think he did.
No, yeah, he just let her sleep. But so he's like, oh my gosh, this lady's face first on the street.
Yeah.
It's not a busy street, but it's a street.
Yep.
So as he gets out, my sister, Gunn, opens up the door. Was like, fine.
This was in between. That wasn't home from the Sixers. That was coming home from the Derby party before we went to the Sixers party. That's why Deanna was there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, either way, but still, the dog runs out, meets my stepdad on the other side of the street, and pees the Jack Russell Terrier on my stepdad's leg.
On his shoe.
On
This
his
is
shoe.
date 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
date 2.
Yeah,
First
that's
nighttime
why-
date.
And that's why he said, why did you? Yeah, he goes, I didn't think anybody's life could be this bad. It can only get better from here. And boy, was he wrong.
He showed up for date 3 with 2 mint juleps in his hand. Let's party.
Here you go, Shirley Temple.
Seriously.
But it's like the Brady
my
bunch.
gosh.
He has a daughter and 2 sons, and then she has a son and 2 daughters. So it's 3 and 3.
Okay. Well, very cool.
But
And do you ever live under one house?
And that's why we get along.
Okay.
No, we never had to live under one house, everybody, because his children were older.
Okay.
And by the time we combined to one house, because we had 2 houses for a long time, they were all gone.
Some good stories.
Oh,
some
boy.
good stories.
Some good story. Now, was it always kind of chaos? Because he calls himself Captain Chaos. Was it always kind of chaos surrounding Joel?
It's just our family situation, because I was like the dad and the mom, and I was always carpooling and going here and there, and I guess I just got used to it. And for Joe, I think it was an adjustment.
Okay. Joel was an adjustment?
I think all my kids
Okay.
were an adjustment.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not fair that boys get charged more car insurance than girls, because he was actually a much better driver than my girls, because my girls totaled, Deanna herself totaled 2 Lexuses, and Laura totaled a Subaru. But
just you could just say cars. You don't have to name brand.
well, I would call Joe and I'd say, oh, it's been a bad accident. He'd come right over. He was just really a good guy, and that's why.
He still is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said he's
still
just
living. He's still with us.
he's just a keeper.
Yeah.
He just cared.
Yeah. It is weird with
loving
the
guy.
with the insurance. You mentioned the cars because I feel like my wife is, and she'll say it too, a much more aggressive driver than I am, and it's not even close. I don't think. And my sister is the same way. Like I think she's a much more aggressive driver than I am, or her husband is.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense, and his insurance was always higher than theirs, and they were.
Maybe younger, maybe
Yeah,
maybe
I
there's
think,
numbers
yeah.
in the when you first start driving that show the opposite. But I feel like as you get older, I feel like that balance definitely changes.
Yeah.
It does.
100%
I
changes.
think it does.
Well, Deanna's third accident was my favorite. She hit a car backing out of a parking spot that was parked next to her. Yes.
Why don't I remember that?
Well,
She cut it too hard.
I guess.
Oh, that's when she lost her license. I made her surrender her license.
Oh, okay. It wasn't like a legal thing.
No.
All right.
Because they were going to cancel my insurance, and I drive for a living.
Yeah.
I'm a real estate agent. And they said, well, she still lives in your household, and she could still get the car. The only way that you can keep your insurance is if she surrenders her license. So I had to have her punished me because I had a driver everywhere.
Yeah.
But I had to have her surrender her license. And I said, well, driving's a privilege. And guess what?
For how long?
A year and a half.
Wow.
I said, you
And how old was she?
used it and you lose it. A junior in high school, senior.
So
Yeah.
17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
I'm so my daughter is going to start driving here in the next year and a half. She'll turn 16 in January of 2025, and it's so much close. It sounded so far away like 5 years ago. Now it feels like it's going to be here.
But it's a
in
lot different now.
blink of an
They
eye.
have a lot of different stipulations and a lot more.
I know, but eventually she's still going to be behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should probably not teach her if you already have anxiety.
I have to teach her because my wife has told me, and again, never say never, but she has told me from the beginning that she's never teaching the kids how to drive
Okay.
because she says she can't handle it. I was like, have you met me?
Yeah.
Well, there's always driver's ed.
And that might be a thing. We might have to pay for some driver's ed classes because unfortunately they don't have that in schools anymore. You mentioned your daughter Deanna. Obviously, her appearances on Bring 'Em Out have been very well received. Has that kind of relationship between those two always been there? And has it caused any problems between them?
Between.
Deanna
and
and
I.
Joel.
No, they're close.
They're close. But I mean, that relationship of the ball busting, has that always been there?
I don't know that that's always been there because I do think that there was a time where Deanna looked up to you because you were her older brother and you watched out for her. You
Yeah.
always watched out for her. And they said that's in adulthood that really
Okay.
came out.
Because people love when she's on Bring 'Em Out
Oh, yeah.
and the stories.
Oh boy. The competitiveness.
Oh, yeah. The competitiveness, I know sports-wise there's always been competition because if you did something, she had to do it.
Well,
That sports-wise competitive.
Is she in the Hall of Fame?
she not.
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't want to brush. I
Yeah.
feel bad I brought that up.
Oh boy.
Oh, sorry,
boy.
Deanna.
No, I thought she might have because she played. Didn't she play lacrosse? Wasn't she?
She didn't play it that long.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
long enough. But
Okay.
she would have.
Yeah.
I think she ended up not being being a goalie, and she was a good goalie, and I think she just didn't stick with it.
Right.
She loved her soccer more.
Well, the cross goalie, that's a tough position. They're flinging those things at you at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and you're not wearing a whole lot of padding.
Yeah.
Well, her daughter's a lacrosse goalie and has bruises all over her.
Yeah. That's a weird game to me.
Yeah.
When you watch guys run up and down the field and they're just hitting each other with sticks as they run up and down the field. And I know they don't do that as much in the female game, I don't think. But they have those long defensive sticks in the men's game, and they just whack each other as they run down the
They
field.
don't do that. Yeah, the boys is much more physical.
Yeah, much more aggressive. If people want to use your services, if you're looking for a real estate agent, I know you and Deanna are both real estate agents. How can they get a hold of you and get a house?
My cell phone's the best way, and I work with RE/MAX, and I'm licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And my cell phone is 609-760-5874.
There you go. Go ahead and
Thank you.
give Donna a call if you're looking for a house. And do you prefer selling in one state over the other?
No.
So there aren't any weird laws in one state that kind of make it more difficult than...
It's not weird laws. It's just the paperwork. Like in Pennsylvania, you have to type out a full contract as an offer, and once a seller signs it, it's binding. In New Jersey, you just have a piece of paper that's an offer to purchase. It's not binding on either party. You negotiate all of the different angles and price and time and everything. Then you go to contract, and even after you sign a contract, there's a 3-day attorney review period that either party can have an attorney change it, cancel it, or accept it.
All right. We're getting some comments here.
Those are the different things.
Our buddy David Moten says, Joel, your mom is such a sweetheart. How did you become such a grizzly bear?
Well, Dave, I don't think I like your tone.
Melinda says, I'm having flashbacks. My second husband drove an F-150 and was a hunter, so he had rifles in a gun rack when he picked me up for our first date. So, did you have mint juleps and fall out of the truck, Melinda? James says, good morning. After 3 nice homes, I'm done with the selling, happily retired. Do you see some people who just maybe are like me and my wife where we don't end up, we tried, it just never kind of, the planets never aligned for us to get a house?
Well, sometimes I don't stay in touch with everybody, so I'm not sure on that. But there are probably some people that never do buy a house.
We also have Renee. Does Donna prefer to be a buyer agent or a seller agent?
Right now, it's better to be a seller agent, but I will
Easier?
be a buyer. It's easier right now, but I'm both.
And it's just commonplace right now for houses to be on the market for like 24 hours.
Yes.
And then they're gone.
If you price them right and they're a good buy. Sometimes if the seller, you will see some homes go on the market and then you'll see them reduce. So obviously they went on too high. Mm-hmm. You're seeing that a little bit.
Is that a tough conversation? Like when someone wants to say, list their house for $240,000 and you're like, that's like $30,000 too much.
There were times in different markets where I refused to take a listing because of that. Because I don't want to waste their time or my time or my marketing money to list a place that's grossly overpriced.
And she also several times would list the house and then have to find them somewhere to live. And then because the average person moves every 7 years and she's been in it for 35 years, she's helped multiple people.
Move like 5 times.
Right? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
3 or 4 at least, some of them.
Do you ever ask them,
Yeah.
why are you moving?
Yeah.
Moving sucks.
Well, usually they tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
Right.
usually know why they're moving.
Exactly. And Renee just asked why did she move to PA, but she moved to PA because my stepdad and her decided to move into one place, and now all her family's here. All her grandkids are here. Yeah, well, Deanna and Laura's, my and Shanna's, but then Steve is in the military. He's in Virginia, but for the most part, most of our family is right here. And then she just commute. He did the opposite commute, staying there for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Where when they were dating, and then 15 years, and now the last 7, she's been commuting over to New Jersey.
Very cool.
But with real estate, you don't have to travel peak hours either.
Yeah, you can kind of make it,
So, right.
yeah, whatever you
Right.
want. So you can work at night if it works best for you, or mornings or whatever works. So like
Right.
middle of the day.
Or you talk to the people and see what works for them, and then you tweak it.
I have one more, I think, real estate related question, and then we can, if you want, go back to more fun stuff. As far as the internet, do you feel like the internet, because I sometimes wonder if doctors, if they could, would get rid of the internet because everyone knows what they have before they go to the doctor because they went to WebMD. Does the internet make your job easier or more difficult? Because I feel like people nowadays look at houses and they kind of, they feel like they know more about the house sometimes than the realtor does when they show up because they opened up Zillow.
Well, actually, as far as looking for houses, it has helped because they're able to click on the photos and actually see the inside of the house. When I started, we didn't even have internet to look at the houses. even the one picture, we had MLS books that were like telephone books that were printed every 2 weeks. And all the people saw was one black and white picture of the front of the house.
That's it.
That was it. You had to take them to see all of the houses. And they didn't have lock boxes then. I would have to drive, before I picked up the people, I would have to drive to all the different offices for these listings, pick up keys, and then after I was done with my people, I had to take all these keys back. It was an all-day process to take somebody out to look at houses.
So you talk about adapting to all the different technology and waves of things that have happened, and she kept adapting.
Yeah. So your industry has changed completely over your time.
Right. I mean, we had a dot matrix printer at our office. We didn't even have a fax at our real estate office when I first started. We would have to go down the street to the attorney's office to fax something. I mean, technology has just blossomed. And I think for the better, because people really have a better idea of what they want, because now they can look on the internet.
So the knowledge is actually helpful in this instance.
It's very helpful.
All right.
It's very helpful.
And as a Hall of Fame athlete, we have to brag about her a little bit.
Okay.
Rookie of the year.
Oh, my first year.
First year, Rookie of the Year.
I didn't even know what I was
Oh, for real
doing.
estate.
Yeah.
For real
Okay.
estate. Sorry. I'm just saying. We have to brag.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Rookie of the Year, and then you were number one age. Like, what were the other things that you made, like accolades that you won over the years?
I was
You
I was
you
broker of the year.
broker
with
of the year,
Greenwood
so
in
she
the
became a
area.
broker for her office, and then became owner. So she owned her office,
And we were broker of the year that year.
and you were the number one office in New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole state of New Jersey.
That's awesome.
And Rotary, I was the president. First of all, Rotary didn't even like to take females in, and then they started to, and I was, I believe,
The third.
the third female president of the Morristown Rotary Club.
That's the show that I'm nervous about, that I keep doing the open mic for, because I have to perform there in October,
And-
and she was the third female president in the history of the Rotary.
Wow.
Morristown Lunch Rotary.
Yeah, Morristown Lunch Rotary.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you've had fun.
A great life.
Yeah. Do you enjoy real estate?
I do enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoy meeting the people. I enjoy seeing the houses. I enjoy all of that part of it. The paperwork is.
Is that where Joel gets it? Because we always, Deanna made a joke about Joel in the airport once, and I was like, I completely understand what Deanna's saying, because I want to just sit in a corner by myself, and it's not that I don't like people, it's just that they make me nervous. Is that where he gets like his?
He might, because it's critical. The paperwork is critical and time sensitive, and.
I'm talking about his outgoing personality with other people.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm all
maybe.
personality, baby.
Yeah.
I hate paperwork.
Yeah, well, he grew up in a house with his dad was in sales and I was in sales, so yeah.
And now he stands on the stage
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
talks about stuff.
I'm sure it had some influence on him.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, I'm always selling,
Yep.
promoting.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's sales.
It's not dealing with money directly when you're selling, but it's still a form of you're selling yourself. Like it's still
Yeah,
selling
exactly.
something that is, it's just a different
He's
product.
a people person.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. That was a lot of fun. Don,
Thank
was
you
it
for having me on.
Was it as painful as you thought it was going to be?
I wasn't sure, but it was fun. You made it fun. You two made it fun.
And you obviously still do the real estate, but you spend a lot of time here now as well, just so everyone knows. If you call this place, there's a very good chance that Donna will be the one who answers the phone.
Correct.
Yeah. So how do you like working here? How is this different from like real estate, especially from an environment, from the people standpoint who you work with?
Oh, it's totally different than what I've ever been exposed to, because there's so many different things going on here, and this is a historic building, and it's just a really fun atmosphere. And the things, I'm not here a lot at night, but the things that go on here are just, he has so many different things that seems to reach out and touch everybody, because he doesn't just do comedy. It's not just weddings. It's not just a restaurant. There's all the venues. He has the different dances, the paint and sip. I mean, he seems to have something for everybody.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It really is. And I know her mom, who was my first of my four grandparents that passed away, would have loved this place because she was a music teacher. She played the organ, the pipe organ in church every Sunday. She loved this era, the big band era. She would have loved this place.
And some people, don't want to work with family members, but it seems like you guys, it's not a problem.
Well, I don't know if she wants to, but she is.
But I mean, having family involved,
Yes.
because work and business, it's so much stress involved. We talked a lot about stress here with buying a house.
Right,
Anytime money is involved with something, stress is involved. So to have your family involved in a business like this, it can be stressful, but you guys seem to navigate those waters without any problems.
No, I think we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Patience.
Patience.